What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and first time I've had to rage at a manager in a while, because what the hell was that? I mean, seriously, what the hell was that? I don't think I've been this pissed off with a performance since last year. Like, yeah, preseason was kind of rough, but I wasn't pissed off. I was just very concerned about how the season was going to go. This was a truly frustrating performance. It was absolutely embarrassing. And Maresca, for all the credit that I've given him, what the hell was he doing today? I truly want to know what thought process, if any, was going through his head today. Because, I mean, what else can I say other than one sub? You had one sub today. After the performance that we saw, after the performance we were watching, you only make one sub? And this is a manager who's shown he's willing to make changes when we need them. Why all of a sudden today did he just suddenly go, you know what? It's fine. It's fine, guys. We're just here. We're having a good time. We'll just roll up to the stadium where it's a tough atmosphere. The fans are in your face. We'll just roll up and it's fine. We'll make one sub to put a wing on whenever we didn't have a wing in a wing position for some reason. We'll do that. But then we'll just let these guys just go out and play. Have a good time. It's fine. Let's just chill. I'm sorry, what? What are we doing? Like, I truly want to know. Because this is by far the most embarrassing performance that I've seen in a while. Like, this takes me back to the times of early days Bully era when there was basically nothing positive to take out of the matches. When it was wholly frustrating to watch. There was nothing exciting. There was nothing to get me excited to watch. I had no fun today. There was nothing fun about this match today. The performance was terrible. The overall just feel, the attitude of the players seemingly, it was awful. I mean, you're 2 goals down, 10 minutes left on the clock, and Betty Shields just casually knocking the ball, knocking it around. Like, he's just casually taking touches. Nobody's moving. Everybody's walking. Did we want to win? Because here's the thing. First of all, Carabao Cup is a trophy. You should want to win a trophy. It doesn't matter how small the competition is, you should want to win a trophy. But also, for these players too, these are games that they could be getting. These are 4 or 5 games now that they're not going to have, that they're going to have to sit on the bench because most of them are not going to be playing at all. You've got 3 competitions that you could be playing in because most of you guys are not going to be playing in the league. That's just the facts of it. You are not good enough to play in the league right now. 3 competitions you have to play in. Carabao Cup, Conference League, FA Cup. 2 competitions now. You better hope that this form doesn't carry over into the Conference League. Granted, the teams we face there are not going to be this good, but still, I mean, if we see these type of lackluster performances, this is similar to when we played Servette in the second leg. We could easily drop some more points there and suddenly not end up in the Conference League. FA Cup, if we face one good team, clearly we can't stand it. Because this is the first good team that our second team has faced, and they just folded under the pressure. They had no answers. It was pathetic. So yeah, first of all, let's talk about Maresca, because my God, the man just left his brain at home today. For all the credit that I've given him, he was an idiot today. He was on the level of Potter. First of all, the lineup was awful. Yeah, it's the second team. We're used to seeing him make all these changes, but first of all, you've pushed Vega into the midfield. That makes no sense. He's done nothing but play as a fullback into a midfielder. That is not the same as you're just going to play holding mid. And we saw today he can't play that position. It's a different position. You can't just say, oh, well, he steps into the midfield all the time, so sure, he could play there. No, it's totally different to play as an inverted fullback than a holding mid. You can't make that switch and just expect it to be the same. It's not, and it was not today. And then Dewsbury-Hall as a wing, that's stupid. I already don't rate Dewsbury-Hall very highly. Playing him out of position is even worse. He's already not that great of a midfielder. Now all of a sudden you're going to throw him out on the wing? That's just asking for trouble. And sure enough, didn't help us. Like, you've got Cassidy. Why can't he play in the midfield alongside either Fernandez or Dewsbury-Hall, whoever you want to push it, or Dewsbury-Hall back, put like George out there, or Neto or Sancho. Some people were saying Sancho is sick today. I haven't heard anything official about that yet, but I will say if he's not on the bench today and there's no sickness or injury, there were no injuries according to Maresca. So if it's not an illness that kept him off the bench today, that's very concerning for this player who's had attitude problems at a former club to come here and now all of a sudden a few games in and he didn't play on the weekend and now all of a sudden he's not even on the bench for the midweek game. There's a problem there. When he was in the first team for a little bit and all of a sudden he's just gone, there's a concern that what happened? Is he actually sick or is there something else? But you've got George. Madueke technically can play. I know Neto and him both played in the weekend, but you've got both of them that can play. Why are you trying to slide a midfielder out there? It's not going to work, and it did not. And then, like I said, no subs except for one. And that was just to put a winger in the wing position where we didn't already have one. And to be honest, putting Madueke out there in the current form that he's in, what help is that really going to give you? But you've got Cassidy, you've got Chukwuemeka both on the bench. I know they're not phenomenal players, but Chukwuemeka is pretty good. I don't know why we don't rate him higher. And then Cassidy has shown some decent quality so far this season. So why are these guys not getting on the field? Why are you not making subs to at least bring on fresh legs whenever clearly so many players are just walking around the field? So either they're tired or they're just not giving a shit. Either way, they should be coming off. Nobody came off. Only one. And again, it was just because he was playing out of position. You put somebody in that position that plays there. That's it. It's the only sub. But it really did feel like Maresca almost just held his hands up and said, you know what? Who really cares about the Carabao Cup? I mean, it's a trophy. I don't know. It really did feel like Maresca just stopped trying. And a lot of the players stopped trying. And for that, all I could say is some bullshit. And a lot of you, the entire team and the manager should all be embarrassed for what we just had to watch. This should be one of those refund the fans tickets that had to travel and watch that shit. Because holy crap. I would be livid if I had to travel all that way just to watch that. Basically, watch my team play for about 15 minutes out of the 90. But getting into individuals, I mean, it's not going to be too hard to go through this because nobody played well today. At least not for the full 90. Some players had a few minutes here and there, but nobody played well. Everybody has below a 6 today. Jorgensen in goal, I mean, it was just pathetic. Nothing that I saw convinced me that he's better than Sanchez, which is bad because Sanchez is also showing his lack of capability. So we needed our second string keeper to sort of step up, kind of what Petrovic did last season and go, hey, I'm a better keeper. I'm going to take that spot. Jorgensen today came out and said, hey, I'm a worse keeper. I'm going to keep this second string spot. Because, yeah, his passing was awful. His ability to come out and claim anything was pretty poor as well. All around poor performance from him. Disasi was really fighting with Fernandez in the first half to try to win worst player on the pitch award. Because, yeah, he absolutely awful. And it's funny because I was talking about it in the review, how Fofana for me was our second worst defender. And it's almost like Disasi watched that video and go, oh, hang on a minute. I want that spot. Because he went out today and proved me wrong. Fofana is actually better than Disasi because holy shit was he bad. Passing was awful. Dribbling was awful. So many bad touches. Defending was all over the place. Scores an own goal. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible performance. Probably, at least based on the first half alone, worst player on the pitch. Tosin was not good. Wasn't the worst player. I would say probably our best defender on the night, but he wasn't good. I mean, our defense was all over the place, and especially because he is our most experienced defender at the age he is. I know it's not that old, but he still is our most experienced defender, and it doesn't feel like there's any leadership there. He's just sort of out there doing his duty and not really keeping track of anybody else. And then Badiashile, sorry. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, he's back to his basic, usual shit performance. The only thing he really has going for him is his passing can sometimes be really good. Outside of that, he's too slow on the ball. I mean, it started right off the bat. Pass comes out to him, and he's just taking his time. Gordon's charging him down. No awareness of what's going on. And then Gordon manages to make a tackle and could have easily poked it off of him and gone and done something dangerous with it. But, yeah, overall his performance is just too lackadaisical, and defensively he's just not good enough. Cucurella was kind of back to his normal performance where he's all over the place. He's energetic. He's rambunctious on the field. But there's no quality in his pressing and his defense. Like it's really poor. When you watch against a team that knows how to handle him and knows how to play around him, he just goes flying out and then he's just beat. Because there's no sense of when to stop, when to slow down, when to break down and put the pressure on. It's just, I'm going to win that ball, and then now, he has more quality than I thought, and he's gone. In the midfield, Fernandez, first half was, right alongside Disasi, is one of the worst performances that we've seen in a while. Terrible passing, too easy to beat in the midfield, defensively not good enough. Second half, his passing got better, but defense was still just as bad, so at least his passing improved, if you want to take a positive out of this match. But as far as breaking into the first team, especially based on this performance. He's not getting there anytime soon. Vega, like I said before, going from an inverted fullback into a holding midfielder, it's not the same thing, and you could tell he just did not know where to position himself in the holding midfield compared to where he normally plays from. It's not the same feeling. Whenever you have the ball, sure, he's going to be doing what he normally does in there because that's where he normally is. But when we didn't have the ball, too many times he's well out of position. He's going charging forward to get beat. He's getting run behind. There are several moments where he was behind the play as they're running at our defense. It was very much early days for Caicedo, what I saw a lot of there from him. Very similar for Vega here. He's just behind the play consistently. Very clearly not a midfielder. Don't ever play him there again. And if you do, then clearly you're an idiot, Maresca. Dewsbury-Hall, like I said, not a winger, and it showed. Like I said, I don't really rate him, but my God, tonight he really played below even my low expectations. There's several moments where could have done something with it. If it was somebody maybe a bit more clever, someone with a bit more either guile or overall talent, I feel like we could have done something with it because he got the ball in some good positions. But he doesn't have the talent to do anything with it, unfortunately. Don't understand what Maresca was thinking there, putting him in the wing. Clearly an awful mistake. Felix, probably our best player on the night overall. And that's just because he had a pretty good first half and then a pretty solid start to the second half. Finishing needs to get better 100%. But I will say one thing I've noticed from Felix this season so far is typically in the matches whenever he's not having it his own way, he'll start well, but by the end of the match, you almost don't see him anymore because he's just consistently not involved. Whether it's he's not working, which I have seen in some games. That wasn't the case tonight. Tonight, it was more so he didn't know what to do with himself. There are so many moments when the team's all over him and he's just giving the ball away, bad touches. It just felt like he was trying to do too much with it. And I think I've noticed that from him before. This was another case of that, where things aren't going his way. It's not really working out for him tonight. So he tries to do too much and then he ends up giving it away even more. So, like I said, best performance on the night from anybody on the team, but I would still only give him a 5 overall. Mudryk on the left side, like I said in the review video, everybody that's praising him after the Panathinaikos match, saying he needs to start, blah, 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 all this stuff. Here's your Mudryk. Here's what I expect from him. He had one good game, and now all of a sudden basically had 2 passes on the night that were good. Everything else, awful. He's not good. He's not a good player. Just because he has one good match, he's not a good player. Stop hyping him up from one good match. He has to do it consistently. Tonight shows he's not doing it consistently, so stop giving him praise for one good freaking match, please. I'm just so sick of the Chelsea fan base. Every single time he has a good match, or even Madueke for that matter, anytime they have a good match, suddenly it's like they never have any bad matches. They're always amazing. They're always the best. I knew he was the best player ever. He needs to get more time. And then they just never do anything again. For another 10, 15 matches, you don't see anything like what we saw from that one match. And it's like people just put that out of their mind as soon as they have one good match. Can we look at the whole picture, please? Can we not be Ineos and look at Ten Hag's one good win and think, oh, we got to keep him? Could we not do that with our players and go, hey, Mudryk had a good match against Panathinaikos. We should let him have more time. We should give him a starting position. You guys are idiots. Anybody saying that, you're an idiot. I'm not trying to bash players for when they don't have good performances, but if you don't want me to bash players, because a lot of people get frustrated whenever there's negativity around a player for having a bad match or anything, well, don't do the opposite when they have one good match out of 20. So it's just a little rant that I wanted to have because, again, the toxic positivity in this fan base sometimes can get real frustrating whenever it's like you can't criticize anybody. Well, let's not give undue praise then, please. But moving on to probably for me, I would say not the worst performer, but probably our worst player when you think about the amount of quality that he has compared to his performance tonight. And Cuckoo, if you take that into account, was our worst player tonight. Because, yeah, Disasi, Fernandez, Badiashile, they were all bad. They were all down there as some of the worst performers tonight. But I also have kind of come to expect it from Disasi and Badiashile, and Fernandez, his form recently kind of matches his performance. And Cuckoo has been one of our better players on this second team. He's been one of our best performers on the second team. He was awful tonight. Again, not as bad as some of those other guys, but it was bad. And with his standards, to me, that makes it the worst performance tonight because I expect more from him. I expect him, when he gets in that position on the box, I expect him to not lash a shot into the defender that's right in front of him. I expect him to take a second, take a touch, and find an actual shot on target that's not going to hit the defender that's literally a foot in front of him. I expect him to actually try to pass and find a corner, or at least look to find another pass to somebody else that has a better angle. But tonight, it was like every single time he got the ball in the box, it was, all right, touch, take a shot. And it would get blocked right away because there's a player literally right in front of him. If he has any sense, he's not going. That's a Jackson move. That's what everybody criticizes Jackson for. He was doing all of the Jackson stuff tonight. I don't understand why. We needed him to be good. We needed him to have that quality finish tonight because honestly, we knew our defense was going to be shit. Of course they are. I mean, our main defense, our first team defense is already shit. So of course our second team defense is going to be even worse. But we still should have enough quality going forward between Felix, between Nkuku. I mean, we should have enough there to at least score a goal or two. We got shut out. And it wasn't because we weren't getting into dangerous areas. I mean, if it was just the rest of the team were not getting the ball to Felix and Nkuku, they weren't able to get on the ball and do anything effective, then you can excuse it. But they were getting into effective areas. They were getting it. Felix, again, for the parts of the first half and the first part of the second half, he was playing out of his mind. He was getting the ball, making dangerous runs, taking on defenders, and putting himself in good areas. Even Mudryk had a couple of good passes right to Nkuku every now and then. And Nkuku just wasted it time and time again. So as much as people want to criticize Jackson, I'll be interested to see if anybody decides to criticize Nkuku tonight, because if not, then that's when you know it's just there's some sort of agenda against Jackson for some reason, because every single time Nkuku has a good game, it doesn't matter how good Jackson's been playing, it's always, he should be starting over Jackson. He's a better striker than Jackson. All right, well, you guys want to criticize every single time Jackson misses a chance. Let's hear it. What are your criticisms on Nkuku tonight? Because in my mind, he's part of the main reason why we didn't win tonight, because we had some chances we didn't finish. Felix also had his chances that he missed, but he's missed some in the past as well. He's shown his finishing can leave a lot to be desired. And Nkuku's not shown that. He's not shown an inability to finish until tonight. So I don't know where that came from. If it happens again, people are going to have to start asking questions and saying, what's going on with him? Is it a mentality thing? Is it because he's not starting in the first team picture? I don't know, but yeah, tonight kind of showed maybe we're rating him too highly after he's scoring all these goals against lower opposition. Maybe he wouldn't be doing bits in the Premier League like everybody's saying. And the Madueke comes on, and he just wanted to prove to everybody that Disasi and Fernandez's first halves, those were bad, but it could get worse. Because yeah, I don't think he did a positive thing tonight. Constantly dribbling into pressure, constantly taking shots when he doesn't need to be from difficult angles, passes that are right to the other team, flopping in the box instead of trying to stay on his feet and find a pass. I mean, there's just so much that I'm sitting there going, yep, this is the young winger that everybody's like, oh, he's going to be so good. It's okay that we have a bit of a selfish player on the team because he can be dangerous at times. This is the player everybody keeps making excuses for. I'm sick of watching him play. I'm sick of watching him be selfish and give the ball away because he'd rather try to take it on himself and try to make himself look good rather than trying to help the team win. I'm just done with it. And again, for him to be the only sub, I truly don't know what's going through Maresca's mind. This was, for me, easily his worst performance as a manager. Like, tactically outclassed, did nothing to try to affect the game, really. Final thing I will talk about, this is more of an aside because I'm not going to use the referee as an excuse tonight. But yeah, Chris Kavanagh was, once again, I mean, he's been bad several times in the past. Tonight was another one where it just feels like you could see him getting the pressure of the fans to call every little time one of the Newcastle players goes down. That's what happens time and time again. But the thing is, because they're being physical with us, so we're trying to be physical back, but every single time we touch them and they flop, he's giving them a foul. But then whenever we do it, I mean, you think about the first goal that they got, Vega goes down easy, and he doesn't give it as a foul. There's a moment later on in the game, it was shortly after I think it was the striker that came on for Isaac, I don't know the guy's name, but he essentially goes down under almost no contact at all and gets a call for it. And then suddenly Fernandez gets tripped in the box and there is contact, no call there, gives the ball to Mudryk. Mudryk gets kind of pushed from behind. He goes over easy, and it's a throw in for Newcastle. And so it's just like, I'm not saying that he definitely affected the game for us or anything, because we were poor on the night. But it really sucks whenever, I've said this before, but whenever the team's not playing well, and then you've also got a referee that's calling things one way for the other team, it adds that little bit of frustration. I mean, for one, it can make it to where the team can't get a good run of form going, because every time we try to be a little physical and we try to get involved in the game, he just keeps cutting it off every single time the other team flops. But from a fan perspective, it gets really frustrating whenever the team's already not playing well. We're basically giving this game to Newcastle. Maresca's giving this game to Newcastle because he doesn't want to make any subs or anything. And then Chris Kavanagh steps in and he says, "Hey, Newcastle, I know this has been an easy night for you. I'm going to make it even easier for you. Here you go. Have free fouls out of nothing." So just a little aside, I mean, the referees in England have been bad for a while, but this was just an added frustration because of how poor we played tonight. But yeah, all in all, it's a terrible performance. It's a terrible result. We're out of a competition. That's one less trophy we have a chance to go after this season. And like I said, less games for our second team to play. So it's on them, and it's on Maresca for not making any subs. That's about all I got. I'm thoroughly frustrated. I hope to not have many other times to rage this season, but geez, I didn't think this performance was still in us. The fact that it is very concerning. So we'll see what happens this weekend, going up against a Man U side that's probably going to have a new manager even after tonight. I mean, we'll have our first team back out there, so the likes of, we'll have a midfield, thankfully, because we'll have Caicedo and Lavia in more than likely. So we'll have a good midfield in there, and obviously you'll have Palmer back in, Jackson back in, Neto back in. So we'll have a better team overall than we did today. But God, I'm honestly cringing thinking about now watching some of the Conference League games, because after tonight, this second team has proved that they are nowhere near good enough to play in the Premier League. So anyways, with a lot being said, that's it for me. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game tonight? Let me know what we can talk about and discuss, all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. Also check out the channel. We have a lot of TV show reviews as well as a couple Let's Plays on there, so check those out if you have time. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.